All right, let's move to angry customers. Given that all of BMG's customers would be very happy, you probably don't get angry phone calls. Do you ever? How do you find them? Are they difficult? Are they easy? Do you get upset? Yeah. And generally, how do you handle it? Often the company's done nothing wrong. Often it's the customer's issue, but you've just got to lead them. And with Australians being more outspoken, I've been on the end of some dreadful personal abuse. I had to kid you know. And I wasn't joking the other day when I say to people, I'm not paid enough to listen to abuse like this, and I just put the phone down. Not that I'm suggesting you do that, but it can be a very confronting exercise for yourself. You can get quite demotivated. It's very stressful, and at the end of it, you often don't feel good about yourself when all you're doing is taking a phone call. And it makes you feel dreadful. And it shouldn't be like that. But people are always going to get upset, so it's basically, what are you going to do? So you've really got to get in, adjust your headspace to say, oops, I've got one. I've got one. Put my resilient face on. Right? Step number one. Then, you all know what active listening is. And in particular, you never disagree with them or anything like that. If you're not sure about something, you can ask a question for clarification. So, sorry, I'm not sure I understand it. You ask the question and you thank them for giving you the information. Normally, they're not in listening mode. So you actively listen. You play back to them their concerns. One, it tells them that you've been listening and that you understand. And two, if you've missed something, they'll tell you. Right? So that's the value of that. It reinforces to them that you've been listening, and also if you have missed something, haven't quite understood it, they'll let you know. Give them the frame of mind. Be empathetic and apologize. You're apologising to them that they're in the state of mind that they're in, etc. Present a solution. Now, you may not know what the answer is, and the solution might be, I'll have to take this away and get back to you. But of course, you've then got to give them the time frame, I will get back to you within 1 hour. You've got to make sure that you do. But you must always present a solution to them. You do, you take the action and you follow up, which goes without saying. And the company can usually learn something from that incident. So if you've got to go through the stress of an angry customer, the least the organisation can do is say, what are we learning from this situation? What happened that it got to that state of mind? Is there anything we can do, continuous improvement, to make sure that circumstance doesn't happen again? And I would suggest to you that there's a regular analysis of the service calls that come in and what the issues are that emerge, and that there's a plan to resolve the issues. So there's a feedback loop into the business. Here's what's coming from the customers. We know we've now fixed that. It's a continuous improvement from another perspective. But if you're not doing this, using the feedback, the calls will just keep coming in. You'll never get rid of the calls, but you can certainly reduce the number of angry customers. Okay, so that's reasonably straightforward. Now, some tips when you're in this situation. You've really got to be calm, cool, and collected. which is why step one was adjust your mindset. Namaste. So you've got to try and bring yourself down, and it's very difficult. And above all, understand that it's not personal. You will often get personal abuse from people, but it is not. They're really you're the extension of the company, which is why they're venting. They're angry at the company, not at you. Okay, but it's pretty hard when you're getting personal abuse. People can be abusive, but when they start abusing you as the individual, I would always say you've got to call time out. So, if the organisation doesn't support you in that, you're working for the wrong company. And the company doesn't want people to do business with people that personally abuse the staff. So the values of the company say that. And when the reason companies have values is when you get difficult circumstances, that's when it tests how serious you are about the value. First and foremost, your staff are the most important. Use your best listening skills. So we said actively listen. You've really got to pay close attention, which is where this adjusting your mindset, calming yourself so you can shut out the distraction. When you have the person's name, saying their name back to them sort of calms them down. Right? There's a lot of power in using somebody's name. Don't sort of say, yes, Fred, no, Fred, three back full Fred, but you play the name back to them on a regular basis through the conversation. It starts to calm them down and form a relationship between the two of you. Smile when you talk. Now you're saying, why on earth would I do that when I'm on the phone? Because when you smile, it creates endorphins in your body. It makes you feel better. And the smile will translate over your voice and the tone of voice that you have. And believe you me, it will get to the other end. Okay? Sympathize. Even though you might be sitting there saying, God, what an idiot. You know? You've got to actively sympathize with them. Apologize gracefully. Find a solution. But then most importantly, don't go into another one immediately. So if they're queued up and it's an angry customer, do not do two in a row without taking 2 minutes to get your mindset adjusted and all of that. Because it'll just destroy you over a period of time when you get lost. It's more a challenge for people in call centers. But you do need to be able to come down and I'm a good person, I've done a good job. We laugh, but it has a tremendous impact on the person receiving the call. It really does border on abuse from time to time. So with the 5-step technique, these little tips, and I would suggest maybe Mitch, you could run some little coaching sessions. Yeah, I'm a great believer in role play. You take turns of being an angry customer. Just get a phone in your hand. Just go, you know, it's the best way to be prepared. A bit of practice before you have to face something. If all somebody does is say, here's how we deal with angry customers, your first 2 or 3 could be such a shock to you that you leave the company. So always practice.